We welcome everyone on our 109th episode under Trends Literature Series. And I'm Neeta, Aneja, and I'm the founder of Trends. And would really appreciate if you could all please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can watch all the other author interactions that we've had now. And today we are really absolutely privileged and blessed to have our esteemed guest, Air Marshall P.V. IYER. He's a 93-year-old young Air Force veteran who embarked on a fitness journey when he was only 47-year-old and has till date run over 120,000 kilometers and maybe more now. Several marathons over 42 kilometers and an ultra marathon from Agra to Delhi, which was over 240 kilometers. He still runs 8 kilometers a day and works out in the gym 5 days a week. So what an inspiration for all of us. A brilliant career at the IAF, the fitness bug, and sir, never tired or retired. So sir, you're deservedly called a running marshal, I must say. So welcome. As I mentioned before, we are truly blessed by your presence today, sir. So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sir, first of all, I must really congratulate you on your book, and I must show this book to everyone. This is fit at any age.
Yeah. Thank you, Neeta. Yeah.
And this has been published by Bloomsbury India, and it is really, I would say, taken a lot of people by surprise because it's such an inspirational book. A lot of people I know who've read this book have turned to fitness. They've suddenly woken out of their sleep and said, "Yes, we'll start a fitness regime." And so, as
nice to know that, yeah.
And so, as Ramesh Krishnan said, the book will really increase consciousness in a large number of people regarding the importance of fitness. So, sir, what really inspires you, and what made you write this golden book?
Well, I was living a peaceful life in Bangalore last year, about September of last year. Then my son, Param IYER, he came on a visit to Bangalore. He is incidentally the CEO of Niti Aayog in Delhi.
Okay.
He says, "Dad, you have run so much in your life. 120,000 kilometers is a lot of running. I think you should write a book about your experiences so that you share your thoughts on fitness with others." And he put me in touch with the editor, Bloomsbury. But my son cautioned me that make sure that the book doesn't read like a manual on fitness or a textbook on fitness. Intermingle it with a lot of anecdotes, your own experiences, what good things happened, what are the hazards of running, etc. So that is how I tried to write this book. I finished it in about April or May, and then the book was actually published on 18th of October. It was launched in Bangalore. So that's how it came about that I wrote this book.
So very well written and in a very good narrative style. And I must say, sir, your story is really an inspirational one, that it shows that anything can be achieved, no matter how young you are or old you are. Or also it shows us that how roadmap is being, how important it is being mentally and physically fit person. And, the regime that you've mentioned in the book and the steps that you've mentioned, they're not very complicated. Anybody can really follow them and kind of take it forward.
Exactly, yes.
So, as you say that your health today is dependent, you mentioned that in the book, on what you've been doing the last 3 months, perhaps. So why do you say to that? So why do you say that?
See, it's a scientifically established fact that how healthy we are today is a factor of what we have been doing during the last 3 months. As an example, supposing you are a healthy person and you get injured for some reason and your legs are put on a plaster and you are bedridden, say, for about 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, then you see that half your muscle has wasted away and you lose a lot of your fitness. But luckily, the reverse is also true. If you have done nothing I've been lazy person during the last 3 months. And if you start on a journey of fitness, I'll explain later what that journey should be. But if you set about it, then you can become as fit as anyone else within the next 3 months. So the reverse is also true. That's what I discovered when I was 47 years old. I was not a particularly keen fitness enthusiast or anything like that. It just happened that the Air Force introduced a new policy that they will test every single Air Force person once a year, how fit he is or she is, and then record it in your annual reports. So it was a career defining moment. And there was a date about 3 months ahead of that time when I had to run a mile in less than 7 minutes. Age dependent timing. I was 47 years old, so I had to run it in less than 7 minutes. I started, therefore, jogging, say a few minutes at a time, and I found it difficult initially. But after a few days and 1 or 2 weeks, I found that I could jog happily for 10-15 minutes without getting troubled or out of breath. Then I realized there is some inner strength in each and every one of us. So I continued jogging, and when the day of the test came, I was easily able to run a mile in less than 7 minutes. And that is, but I didn't stop there. The journey continued, and I started running more and more, and I started learning new things about myself, that it is all within us. The genes of our prehistoric ancestors is in each one of us. You know, the people who lived in the Stone Ages, they had to run every day of their lives, either to hunt for food or to escape from danger. Like this, by running so much, they develop very strong heart and lungs and blood vessels. It's my theory that these genes are in each and every one of us. Only you start jogging or any other exercise, use your legs, and you realize really how strong you are. That's how my journey happened.
Right. And you also mentioned that, you have to, at some stage of your life, need to stop telling yourself that you are too old to exercise. Like most of us say, oh, now we're past that stage, we should not be exercising. So, I mean, how did you overcome this common mindset?
It is just a fallacy that people have, that after a certain age, whatever it be, that you are too old to start exercising. There is no such time limit like that. Anyone can start learning to be fit any time of their lives. The strength is inside them already. You just got to go out and do your work. The legs contain the maximum number of muscles and bones in our body. So when we move our legs, we are asking the heart to work harder. And by working harder, the heart becomes stronger. It's a very strange and counter to logic kind of feeling that how come the heart can become stronger by working harder. But that is exactly the truth. It's a biological and scientific truth. Just like any other muscle, you work that muscle, it becomes stronger. Same thing happens to this heart. You work it and it becomes strong. And this mantra of fitness is as simple as that. Use your legs, whether it's walking, jogging, bicycling, swimming, climbing, treadmill, aerobic dancing, anything that moves your leg is a fitness activity.
So very right, sir. But sir, tell us what has been the major motivating factor for you? I mean, I know they always say there has to be an ikigai in your life, that every single morning when you get up from your bed, there has to be one single motivation which keeps you going. So I would like to know about your ikigai. I mean, I have to know what motivates you every single day to continuously for so long having been on the fitness journey. So what is that factor? What is your unique ikigai, I would say?
You see, along my fitness journey, I discovered a very simple truth that I'm a very fit person. It just happened after several months of jogging that there's nothing which tires me. I'm enthusiastic right in the morning to go ahead and do what needs to be done. And our Air Force life starts very early. We have to reach the airfield by about 7:30 in the morning. So working backwards, I would get up at 4 o'clock or even a little earlier. As a typical example, I used to live in Delhi in Curzon Road apartments. On a working day, I'm not talking of any Sunday, I'll get up at about 3:30 and get ready and start jogging at 4 o'clock and head towards Palam Airport. It's about 11, 12 miles one way. I'll keep on jogging and I will reach the periphery of the Palam Airport and I'll run back. I'll finish the whole lot of that activity within about 2 hours or 2.5 hours. And I'll be back home by 6 o'clock or so. And I'm ready to get ready to go to the office. So it just became a habit. And there was no question of not working out any single day in my life. If you have a look at my book, you will see a sketch there that people run in railway stations in order not to miss a single day's running. Those days, traveling from Chennai to Delhi took almost 2 days in train. So what do? You get out at big major railway stations and then the train is stopping, run up and down the train, making sure that you don't miss it. And if nobody else is in the compartment, I would jog in the compartment also. So all these strange things, good things happened to me. And that is how there was no need to motivate myself. The problem is how to stop running in my case. That was the feeling. So I was quite lucky that way. But I feel that anyone who has indulged in this habit of health-giving activities, they should be able to get that same feeling after several months of working out.
So very right. And so as you mentioned and just said also that, fitness really depends on your daily activity. And you've always said, as you mentioned just now, that you have to just keep on moving your legs, be it walking, jogging, running, cycling, swimming. Always.
That's right.
And at least for 30 minutes, you should do that daily and go to 1.5 hours if you can. That is what you mentioned also.
Yeah.
So your heart becomes more stronger. You have a regular blood supply in all parts of the body. And
that is the essence of fitness. Fitness is just that any organ in our body, the kidneys, the liver, the lungs, the heart, the brain, they'll do their assigned work so long as they get their requirement of blood every moment of the day. And that is what the heart does. And that is the one that you are nurturing when you are wanting to be fit.
One of the very important incidents that you've mentioned in the book is definitely about this Delhi run that you organized, and you also ran 270 kilometers from Delhi to Agra.
Yeah.
So would you like to tell us about that? That was a very interesting.
Yes. It was one of the adventure activities of the Air Force. I was an Air Marshal at that time, about 55 years old. I was stationed in Nagpur. So I suggested to the air headquarters that we should organize a run like this from Agra to Delhi to celebrate the Air Force Day, which falls on the 8th of October every year. So this was the year 1985, and 8th October was the day. We started 3 days before that. On 5th of October, we started running from Agra. I had collected a bunch of 300 odd young people. Some of them old. Ranjit Bhatia was an Olympian. He was amongst us. Asha Agarwal was a girl who is a marathon runner, young girl at that time, maybe 18 or 19 years old. Dev Lahiri, another master in Doon School, and several other Army, Navy, and Air Force youngsters. We were all flagged off by the AOCNC in Agra on the morning of 5th of October, and we started running. Our plan was to have a night halt, 2 night halts, and then run into Delhi on the morning of 8th October into the Palam Air Force grounds, where the Air Chief Marshal La Fontaine was waiting for us, and the band was whipping up and playing Swagatam, Swagatam kind of thing. And it was great fun. Out of 300 of us who started, about 200 had to drop off due to lack of training. About 100 of us were fit enough to remain. I was there, of course, running in front of them. It was not a race, it was just a joint fun kind of run. And no first or second or third, we just gathered. And on the last leg from Faridabad to Delhi, Palam, it took us about an hour or so, or hour and a quarter. And we were received, I handed over the Air Force flag to the Air Chief Marshal, and we all had a good celebration that day. And same evening was 8th October, when there was a reception in the Air House, that the residence of the Air Chief, Rajiv Gandhi, had come at that time. He was the Prime Minister, and I was introduced to him. So it was great fun.
I'm sure. I mean, it's amazing how you've carried on for so long about your fitness journey. So one of the things is that, you've written this book, if I go back to the book, that in a very, very easy to read, relatable style with very inspirational and common anecdotes which happened during the course of your journey.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to write this book, and what was the process, or perhaps you could mention about the publication of it?
Oh, it took me about, I think maybe 5 to 6 months to write the book. Actually, it was easy for me to write because I didn't have to invent anything. Everything was there. I only have to recollect my thoughts of what happened, etc. And the anecdotes. For example, when you're super fit, your heart rate becomes lower and lower. And mine was lingering about 38 or 39 beats per minute instead of the normal 72. One day I was visiting a government hospital in Nagpur. My mother-in-law had been admitted for a surgery, and I just wanted to look up. So I told my wife I'll go and spend some time with her. I went to the hospital. The mother-in-law was actually sleeping, so I didn't want to disturb her. So I went to the next room. I found it empty, and there was a nice inviting bed. And since I get up very early in the morning and I finished my long run, I was sleepy and I slept off. Suddenly I found a nurse putting a thermometer in my mouth and measuring my pulse. I tried to explain to her that I'm not a sick person, I'm just a bit, but she wouldn't listen to me. She said, no sir, it'll just take a minute. And she took the temperature meter, and then she found my pulse was 39. So she raised a hue and cry and alarm. The hospital bell started ringing. Doctors and paramedics and some stretchers came, and they put me on the stretcher to take me to the ICU. So eventually I got hold of a doctor who seemed to know something about sports medicine. I explained to him, I'm not a sick person. I'm, on the other hand, a super fit person. My pulse is like that. He understood that and let me off. So this kind of incidents, it was easy to narrate in the book, and so some others. So it was great fun writing the book, and there's no problem at all.
No, but I would say that, sir, thank you so much for writing this book, and it makes so much of us more fitter and more healthier and more, active by reading the book, definitely. And sir, sir, could you adjust your camera a little bit? I can't see your full face. I mean, I can't see your chin. Yes, maybe if you could. Yeah, this is better. Thank you.
Better?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Much.
Sure.
I wish I had told you this earlier. Yes, this is better. So, WHO Chief Scientist Dr. Swaminathan says that your
Yes,
book should galvanize everyone, young and old, into becoming fitter and active. So, what has been your biggest compliment on this book? Who really got back to you and said something which you really felt that yes?
Sorry, say
Any
that again.
incident?
Soumya was our neighbor in Delhi. I used to
Okay.
know her. She used to
Yeah.
see me jogging in the morning right in front of
Mhm.
her house. What was your question again, Neeta?
So I said that which has been the biggest compliment you feel on your book? Somebody's got back, somebody's got
Yes, that is
transformed.
true. That is true. It was great fun receiving all these supporting statements from Amitabh Bachchan,
Yes.
from Rahul Dravid, and
Mm.
from Ramesh Krishnan, of course, the tennis legend,
Uh-huh.
Soumya, and Shekhar Gupta, and all these people have endorsed this book, and it was a great feeling because that means who are people who are very busy in their own sphere, they're able to find some time to look at the book and say something nice about it. I was very happy indeed.
I would also say that, sir, this book is quite humorous as well. In quite a few anecdotes that you've mentioned, it combines your personal anecdotes, some scientific basic logic, and simple tips. It also covers various factors that can be followed at any age and guide one and all with a perfect blend of routine and special techniques. So, what message would you like to give from your side to the viewers of this podcast and also your life inspiration?
Yes. So, as I said, the one big discovery I made during my fitness journey is that it does not matter at all what your age is, what your lifestyle has been. You have got that genes in you to become fit. The body actually craves to be fit. Anybody it just doesn't want to fall sick, it wants to remain fit. And it only needs just the small mantra of movement. Just move a bit, 10, 15, 20 minutes. That is more than enough. Choose your own target. You don't have to, everyone need not work out 2 hours a day or something like that. In management schools, they have got a small game they play. They collect the students and they put a basket at the corner of the room and they give a ball to each of these management trainees and they say, throw the ball into the basket. They don't tell where to stand. Some people stand very near the basket and throw it easily. Some people stand far away and try to throw it, and very often they don't succeed. But some people, they stand at a place where there's a good chance of doing it properly if you have the skill, and they choose that particular place. So the moral of the story is that choose a target which you think you can achieve and then go ahead. So that is the message. Just choose your own target. Don't overdo things and try to just move continuously for 20 minutes. That is the minimum required.
And so what's been your life inspiration, somebody that you've been really inspired by, like today and always will be ever inspired by you, sir? You are our role model. So anybody else that you would like to mention that has been and inspired you all throughout your life?
Well, my wife was Kalyani. She was a veterinary doctor. She was very fond of sports. In fact, you will find in book one of her images where she is doing water skiing.
Hmm.
And she has been a great encouragement to me in all my activities. I had written a book earlier also when she was alive, Run and Discover Your Strength. There again, the main theme was, of course, that anyone can become fit at any age. It is the genes in each one of us. So she was a great motivator for me. And of course, my three children are very, very supportive. Without them, I could not have written this book at all. It was Param who encouraged me to start it. It was Meena, my eldest, and Indu, the second, who have been helping in every aspect of the book preparation, editing, re-editing, reading the script, suggesting syntax, grammar, style, anything and everything they have been helping me. So that's how it is a combined effort.
Very right. And you mentioned one of the chapters also about the family as a group, as a unit. Yeah, they're all into fitness that you've mentioned.
True,
One of the
true.
interesting chapters which I forgot to ask you, and maybe perhaps if you could just give a few minutes on that, is one of the chapters, I think that was chapter 11 on the occupational hazards of running. And that was a very interesting read. So I think that is faced by all the runners, all the people who are running. And would you like to talk about that chapter, sir?
Yes.
So that helps out a lot of people who will now venture into running, somebody like me.
Yeah. The one or two funny things happened. Once I was running in a dark, cold winter morning in Nagpur in the Gondwana Hills. I was running happily in the middle of the road. Suddenly, I hit a wall. At least that's what I thought I did. It actually happened to be a buffalo standing in the middle of the road.
Oh my God.
And my breath was taken out of my chest. I don't know who was more surprised, the buffalo or myself. I didn't wait to apologize. I just ran away from there. So that's one of the small little things. But occupational hazards, altitude is, dogs are always a permanent worry. Being chased by dogs and even bitten by a dog once. Ramesh Krishnan and myself were running in the Madras Marina, and the dog came behind me and just bit my ankle. As simple as that. And the locals told me that that dog had given birth to puppies and was trying to guard. And the process of guarding is to bite anyone who is around. So this sort of hazards are always there. There's hazards of altitude. I was running in Shimla once without any preparation. After reaching Shimla, I started jogging for about half an hour. I immediately developed a chest pain. So these are all cautionary things you should know, that you have to prepare yourself for altitude, for heat. Heat and humidity is a very nasty combination. I have mentioned an incident in the tennis world when Boris Becker, the great tennis player, had come to Chennai for a tournament. And Chennai, in the month of April at that time, was hot and humid. He just couldn't even stand on the court. I could see his withering away. And he just lost to a total stranger who didn't know much about tennis. So these are all the hazards all the time you got to guard against. But so long as you are careful and you have common sense approach, you'll do well for yourself.
Very inspirational. But so we are, one last question before we end this session. We don't want to end it, and there's so much that we want to ask you more, but always the limitation of time is there.
Yes.
I would suggest everyone to read this book. Definitely, I read it, and I am started yoga once again, and I definitely want to do running. And if sir can do it, if sir can manage it so well, I think all of us can do it. And so, what are your future plans? Maybe at the last, I'd like to ask you this question. And anything else
immediate plans are to go to Delhi. I'm going to Delhi next week. There's another launch of this book in the India International Center on the 29th of this month.
Yes,
it's a Tuesday evening. Shekhar Gupta and Rajiv Maharshi and maybe Amitabh Kant, who is the Sherpa of the G20. All those will take part in the panel discussion and spend some time there. And then if there's some literature festivals or something like that, I may attend that. One or two invitations I got from some APLF or something like that. So I'll be busy doing all that. And otherwise, I don't have immediate plans to write anything else at the moment. Maybe some lecture tours or something like that. Thank you.
Yes. Anything else that we missed out you would like to talk about before we end this session, sir?
Maybe. No, it's fine. Thank you. There's so many things to talk about, but the general idea is just one mantra: move and move your legs. and spend about 15-20 minutes minimum per day on physical activity. And mind you, mind is another thing. After all, we are earning to be fit so that we can employ our mind, learn new things, read books, learn languages. In the process, I learned during these COVID days many languages. Already knew French and Russian. I've been posted in Moscow. Indian languages, I know several, all the South Indian languages. So use your mind, apply your mind, and be a happy person. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your presence today. Your talk has been really inspirational, and we look forward to many more golden advice from you in future too.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
And as Amitabh Bachchan said, that if you are one of those who've come to believe that physical fitness and age are inversely related, that fitness reduces with increasing age, if you think, then here is a masterclass. Fit at any age disperse that belief successfully. So a lot of people are endorsing this book. A lot of people are reading. They want to hear you more. So, sir.
Thank you, Neeta, and thank you.
God bless you, and thank you for blessing us today. It's been a wonderful session.
Neeta and Dia, bye. Thank you.